Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like the world was collapsing around you? You were the only one left standing in the ruins. Not standing strong, just standing, barely, not moving forward, not falling either. Just frozen, caught in that eerie silence after the storm, where the echoes of your own heartbeat feel louder than the world outside. We've all been there, or we will be. It's the moment when despair doesn't knock. It breaks in, when the light at the end of the tunnel isn't just dim, it's gone, and you're left wondering, is this it? Is this the end of me? But here's what no one tells you, because most people are too afraid to say it out loud. Despair isn't the end, it's the invitation. Despair shows up when your old self is no longer strong enough to carry the weight of your future. It arrives not to destroy you, but to force a transformation, to break you, yes, but only so you can rebuild, not as who you were, but as who you must become. This is not a speech about false hope. I won't tell you to smile through your pain, or pretend it's not real. No, I'm here to tell you that your pain is real, your suffering is valid, and your despair, it has a purpose, because inside despair is fuel, inside pain is potential, and inside the darkest night is a fire waiting to rise. We live in a world obsessed with light, with smiles, with perfection, with motivation that's sugar-coated and sterilized. But real strength, real transformation, it's forged in darkness, not in the gym, not on Instagram, not in the highlight reels, but in the late-night breakdowns, the unanswered prayers, the empty rooms, the moments no one sees. This is where you meet your true self, not the version of you they applaud, but the one who keeps walking when there's nothing left to hold on to. Today, we're not going to run from despair. We're going to dance with it, because when you learn to move with your darkness, to listen to it, to speak its language, you don't just survive, you rise. This is your initiation, not into suffering, but into strength, into resilience, into becoming someone the world can't break, even when it tries. Over the next 30 minutes, I'm going to walk with you into the heart of your darkness, not to dwell there, but to pull something out of it, something powerful, something eternal, something that the world cannot touch, steal, or silence. Your strength. So if you're in pain right now, if you're exhausted, afraid, heartbroken, or on the edge of letting go, not yet. Give me your next 30 minutes. Let me speak to the part of you that hasn't given up yet, the part of you that's still breathing, even if it hurts, because that part, that's your power. That's the part that can change everything. Let's begin. Let's talk about falling. Not the metaphorical kind you post on social media to sound poetic. The real kind. The kind that rips your chest open at 3 a.m. when everyone's asleep and your demons are wide awake. The kind that breaks your voice, dries out your soul, and makes you forget who you used to be. We're taught that falling is failure, that breaking down means we're weak. But let me tell you something that will change the way you see pain forever. The fall isn't the end, it's the initiation. You don't become stronger by avoiding the fall. You become stronger by surviving it. When you fall, when you break, when you scream into the silence and no one answers, that's the moment life strips you down to your core. And what's left? That raw, trembling version of you. That's the version you build from. Think of the strongest people you admire. None of them got there through comfort. None of them became powerful because life was easy. They became powerful because they faced something that almost destroyed them. And they came back with fire in their eyes. Let me tell you a story. There was a man. Let's call him Michael. He was successful, had a family, a career, a purpose. And then one day, it all fell apart. His wife left. His business collapsed. His friends disappeared. He lost everything in one brutal season of life. And for months, he locked himself in a tiny apartment, living off instant noodles, staring at the same four walls, wondering if the world would even notice. if he was gone. But here's the thing, he didn't disappear, he didn't end, he broke. But in that breaking, he discovered something he never knew existed. Rage, grit, and a will to fight. He started writing again. He started training, not for anyone else, but because it gave him rhythm, something to hold on to. He built a business from his pain. He wrote a book about hitting rock bottom. He helped others who were on the edge. That man didn't just recover, he redefined himself. You don't become powerful by denying your pain. You become powerful by letting it break you open, then deciding what to do with what's inside. The fall is scary because we associate it with shame. What will people think? If they see me fail, I'll be nothing. But here's the truth. No one's watching as closely as you think. And even if they are, their opinions won't carry you through your darkest nights. Only your will can do that. The fall is not the opposite of success. It's part of the path. It's the forge, the test, the sacred descent before the rise. Don't run from it. Don't numb it. Don't pretend you're okay when you're breaking inside. Because when you finally fall hard, fall deep. Let it strip away everything false. Let it hurt. Let it shatter you. Then look at the pieces, pick them up, and start building something the world has never seen before. The real you. After the fall, there's a moment of stillness. It's not peace. It's not clarity. It's nothing. Just you and the darkness. No answers. No way out. Just silence. And it terrifies most people. We've been conditioned to believe that silence equals failure, that stillness equals stagnation, that if you're not moving forward, you're doing something wrong. But I'm here to challenge that belief. Because what if I told you that stillness is sacred? What if the most important part of your transformation happens not in movement, but in waiting, in feeling, in simply sitting with the pain, without trying to fix it, escape it, or numb it? Sitting in the darkness isn't weakness, it's war. It's you refusing to run. It's you choosing to face the storm within, rather than distract yourself with noise. It's choosing presence over escape, and that choice, it changes everything. Think about nature. A seed must sit in the dark soil before it ever reaches the light. A caterpillar must dissolve inside its cocoon before it becomes a butterfly. Transformation doesn't happen in the spotlight. It happens in the shadows, and so must you. But we don't like the shadows, do we? We want instant answers, quick relief, fast healing. We scroll, we binge, we distract, we suppress. Because facing what's inside is the hardest thing we'll ever do, but it's also the most necessary. Let me tell you about a woman named Lie. She lost her child in a car accident. One moment she was a mother, the next she was shattered. People told her to stay strong, to move on, to find a purpose, but she didn't want any of that. She wanted to scream, to disappear, to sit in her grief, and so she did. For months she said nothing, did nothing. She just sat in that pain, felt every drop of it, until one day she began to write, not for healing, not for meaning, just to honor what she felt. Those writings became letters. Those letters became a blog. That blog became a space where thousands of grieving mothers came to find the words they were too broken to say. Lie never moved on. She moved through, and in doing so she became something stronger than before. A lighthouse for others, lost in their own storms. You see, the darkness you're in right now, it doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're becoming, but only if you dare to stay. Stay with the silence. Stay with the ache. Stop trying to escape what your soul is trying to show you, because buried deep in that stillness is your truth, your fire, your story, and it's worth sitting for. This is the power no one talks about. Not grinding, not hustling, but enduring with presence. Not pushing through pain, but breathing through it. Not fixing yourself, but finally facing yourself. It's not easy, but it's real, and it's the beginning of everything. Let's talk about pain, not as a curse, but as a tool. We spend so much of our lives trying to avoid pain. We run from it, numb it, suppress it, deny it, because we've been taught that pain is the enemy. But what if I told you pain is the greatest teacher you will ever have? Not the kind of teacher that coddles you, but the kind that breaks you open so you can finally see what's inside. Pain strips away illusions. It shows you who you are without the mask. It tests the strength of your foundation. And if there's a crack, pain will find it, not to shame you, but to give you a chance to rebuild. You can't fake resilience in the face of pain. You either bend or you break, but either way, you learn, and learning is power. Here's the truth. Your pain is not here to punish you. It's here to prepare you for something deeper, something greater, something real. Think about a blacksmith forging a blade. The metal must be thrust into fire, pounded, cooled, then thrown back into fire, again and again. Why? Because that's how you create something unbreakable. You are that blade, and life is the fire. It's not trying to destroy you, it's trying to refine you. Let me tell you about a man named Andre. He grew up in poverty. His father was an addict. His mother worked 3 jobs just to keep the lights on. At 14, Andre was homeless. At 17, he was in prison. Everyone counted him out. Even he did. But something changed inside him. Not because someone saved him, but because he got tired of pain having the last word. He started reading in prison, started writing, started lifting weights, not just to train his body, but to reclaim his sense of control. When he got out, he didn't look for shortcuts. He didn't chase comfort. He used his pain as fuel. Now Andre runs a program that helps young men coming out of prison rewrite their lives. He doesn't just speak from inspiration, he speaks from scars. And here's what he tells them. Your pain is your passport. You've already paid the price. Now go use it. That's the mindset. You've suffered. Good. Don't waste it. Use it. Use it to become wiser. Use it to become stronger. Use it to break cycles your family couldn't. Use it to fuel your work, your discipline, your decisions, because pain doesn't make you weak. Pain makes you real. It connects you to others. It grounds you in truth. It burns away ego, distraction, and lies. You want to be powerful. Don't chase perfection. Chase authenticity. And nothing makes you more authentic than pain survived and transformed. So stop seeing pain as the villain. Start seeing it as the gatekeeper, because once you pass through it, there's something waiting on the other side. Your power. You want to rise? Then stop pretending you're only made of light. There's a side of you that you hide, a side you silence. The anger, the sadness, the jealousy, the guilt, the shame, the shadow. You've been taught to run from it, to pretend it doesn't exist, to only show the parts of you that are polished, positive, and pretty. But listen closely. You don't become whole by denying your darkness. You become whole by owning it. Carl Jung said it best. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Your shadow isn't evil. It's not your enemy. It's every part of you that was once rejected, ignored, or abandoned. It holds your power, your intensity, your drive, and if you keep burying it, it will find ways to come out, through self-sabotage, through fear, through addiction, through rage. But if you turn toward it, if you face your shadow with honesty, compassion, and courage, that's when the real work begins. That's when integration starts. That's when you stop breaking and start building. Let me give you an example. A woman named Tara grew up in a household where emotions were seen as weakness. If she cried, she was told to toughen up. If she got angry, she was told to calm down. So she buried it all. Her grief, her fire, her voice, On the surface, she looked perfect. Successful career, polite smile, always agreeable. But inside, she was exhausted, disconnected, depressed, until one day, her body forced her to listen. She had a breakdown, not because she was broken, but because she had spent her entire life denying the very things that made her real. Tara began therapy. She started journaling, not what she should feel, but what she really felt. She screamed, she cried, she allowed herself to get messy. And in that mess, she found herself. She started painting, something she hadn't done since she was 10. She began expressing her anger, not destructively, but consciously. And for the first time, she felt alive. That version of Tara, the one who speaks her truth, who embraces her flaws, who holds space for both rage and love. That's the real Tara. You don't need to be fixed. You need to be seen fully, even the parts you're afraid to show. Because the world doesn't need another perfect mask. It needs you, raw, real, and rising. Your shadow contains your deepest potential, and when you bring it into the light, you don't become a monster. You become a master. Master of your emotions, master of your reactions, master of your life. So don't run, turn around, face it, talk to it, listen, ask yourself, what part of me have I been rejecting? What truth have I been too afraid to speak? What power have I buried just to be accepted? Because once you answer that, once you reclaim those parts of you, you'll no longer be controlled by your shadows. You'll lead with them, and that is the beginning of unshakable strength. Once you've faced your darkness, once you've sat in it, danced with it, listened to it, the next step is to rebuild, but not the way you were before, not the version of you that played it safe, not the one that lived for approval, that wore the mask, that shrank to make others comfortable. No, now it's time to rebuild yourself with intention, with truth, with purpose. Because here's the thing no one tells you. Rock bottom isn't the end. It's the solid ground where you get to build with clarity. When you've lost everything that was false, you're finally free to create something real. Think of it this way. Your despair burned the old house down, but now you get to design every single wall of the new one. Every room, every value, every boundary. You're the architect now. No more living by default. No more fitting into someone else's mold. This time, you build on your own terms, but it requires courage, because building something new means leaving behind what's familiar. Even if that familiarity was toxic, even if it hurt, some people will try to pull you back into the old version of yourself, because that version was convenient for them, predictable, comfortable, easy to manipulate. But you didn't survive all of this to stay the same. You didn't dance with despair to go back to pretending. You're building now, so build with discipline. Build a mindset that doesn't fold when life punches hard. Build a routine that keeps you grounded, even when your emotions scream. Build a body that reflects your inner fight. Strong, focused, ready. Rebuilding is not about aesthetics, it's about alignment. You don't need to prove anything to anyone, but you owe it to yourself to become someone you respect when no one is watching. Let me tell you about Jamal. After losing his mother to cancer, he spiraled, lost his job, started drinking, pushed everyone away. For a year, he lived numb, until one night, staring at himself in a broken bathroom mirror, he whispered, "I don't want to die like this. I don't want her death to be where I stop." That was his turning point. He didn't suddenly become fixed. He started small, 10 push-ups in the morning, cold showers, reading one chapter a day, writing one paragraph before bed, step by step, brick by brick. 3 years later, Jamal runs a non-profit for grieving young men. He speaks in schools. He mentors teenagers who feel lost, not because he's perfect, but because he knows the map out of the darkness. He rebuilt himself with purpose. You can too. Start with one promise to yourself. Keep it, then another, then another. And every time you honor that promise, you rebuild trust in yourself. That trust, it's the foundation of self-worth. It's how you go from surviving to leading. So don't waste your pain. Don't just get back on your feet. Rise higher, stand taller, and build something unshakable. Because you've already been broken, now it's your time. Not to repeat the old story, but to write a new one, word by word, choice by choice, day by day. This isn't a comeback, this is a rebirth. There comes a point in your journey, after the fall, after the silence, after the rebuilding, where you realize something powerful. You are now capable of standing alone, and that's both terrifying and liberating, because for the first time, you're no longer driven by the need to be understood, to be accepted, to be validated. You've seen your darkness. You've danced with despair. You've rebuilt with purpose. And now you walk into the world, not needing it to love you, because you've already learned to love yourself through the war. Here's the truth. Not everyone will clap when you rise. Some will be uncomfortable with your growth. Some will try to remind you of who you used to be. Some will resent the fact that you didn't stay broken. Let them. You don't owe your pain to anyone. You don't have to shrink to fit into spaces you've outgrown. You don't have to make yourself small so others can feel tall. This is your time to walk, even if no one walks beside you. Because strength isn't just about power. It's about presence, about standing fully in who you are, especially when the crowd walks away. It's in those moments of solitude where there's no applause, no reassurance, no safety net, that you meet the most unshakable version of yourself. Let me tell you about a young man named Leo. He lost his father at 16, the only one who ever believed in him. After the funeral, friends disappeared, family avoided the grief. He felt like a ghost, alive, but invisible. For months, he sat in that darkness, and then one day, he decided to take a walk, not toward anything specific, just away from everything that felt false. No music, no distractions, just the road, the wind and his pain. He walked that same path every day, sometimes crying, sometimes screaming, sometimes just breathing. But each step became an act of defiance, a refusal to disappear. And slowly, step by step, Leo realized he didn't need to be understood. He needed to be honest with himself, with his grief, with his purpose. Now Leo is a wilderness therapist. He takes people on long walks through the forest and teaches them to face their pain in the silence, not with answers, but with presence. He's not famous, not viral, but he's free. That kind of freedom. It doesn't come from applause. It comes from standing alone and not breaking. You don't need a crowd to confirm your power. You don't need a stage to validate your worth. You don't need someone to hold your hand to keep walking, because real strength is quiet. It's still. It's calm in the storm. It's that voice inside you whispering, "I've got me," and that's enough. So if you find yourself walking alone right now, good. That means you're not chasing approval. You're following truth. And the truth, it's a hard road, but it's the only one that leads to freedom. You've come a long way, from breaking down to breaking through, from surviving to rebuilding, from hiding to standing. But now comes the most profound shift of all, becoming the light you once needed. Because here's the hidden gift inside your pain. It gives you empathy. It gives you vision. It gives you voice. And the world is starving for voices like yours. People don't need more perfection. They don't need more highlight reels. They need truth. They need real, raw, messy, imperfect, yet powerful truth. The kind that says, "I've been there. I didn't think I'd make it, but I'm still here." And so can you. You don't have to be a guru. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to be honest, present, and willing to show up. Because when you rise from despair, you carry something sacred, a map, a story, a light. Not everyone will want it, not everyone will understand it, but someone will. Someone out there is drowning in the same darkness you crawled out of, and they don't need a savior, they just need a sign, a voice, a story, a spark. Let me tell you about Mia. She survived an abusive relationship that nearly destroyed her. Years of emotional and physical trauma. When she finally escaped, she didn't think she'd ever find her voice again. For a long time, she stayed silent, ashamed, afraid to be seen as damaged. But one day, she posted a single paragraph online, just a few words about what she'd been through. No names, no drama, just truth. Within hours, dozens of women messaged her, saying, "Me too," saying, "Thank you," saying, "I thought I was alone." That one act of courage became a blog, then a support group, then a non-profit. Mia never intended to become a leader, but her scars became bridges. Her story became light, and her voice, once silenced, became a lifeline for thousands. That's what happens when you stop running from your past and start using it to light the path for others. You don't have to be perfect to make an impact. You just have to be authentic. So ask yourself, what did I need when I was in the dark? What would have saved me? What words would have helped me breathe again? Then go out and be that for someone else. Not to fix them, not to preach at them, but to walk beside them, to remind them, you're not alone, you're not broken, and you're not done. Your story is your superpower. Your survival is your testimony, and your presence, it's enough. You've danced with despair. Now dance forward with purpose. Become the proof that even in the darkest night, light is still possible. Be the light, because someone out there is still searching. This journey we've walked together, it isn't just words. It's a reflection of your own battle, your pain, your scars, your will. You didn't just listen to this message, you felt it, because deep down, you know you were never weak. You were just waiting to rise. You see, despair doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to awaken you, to strip away the illusions, to burn down the lies, so that something stronger, purer, more powerful can emerge. And that something is you. Not the version of you the world demanded, but the version that was forged in fire, molded in silence, built in solitude. You are not broken. You are reborn. The fact that you're still breathing, still here, still fighting, means you've already won half the war. Now it's time for the rest. No more running, no more hiding, no more apologizing for your strength, your scars, or your story. From this moment forward, you walk with power, you speak with purpose, you live with fire. You don't need validation, you don't need permission, you don't need rescue, because you are the storm and the sunrise, all in one. You are the one who rose from ashes others feared to touch. You are the one who made a masterpiece from the mess. You are the one who turned pain into purpose, darkness into direction, despair into dance, and now you're unstoppable. But remember this, your journey doesn't end here. This is not a conclusion, this is a beginning, because now that you've risen, now that you've remembered who you are, the real work begins. The work of staying awake, the work of showing up every single day, especially when it's hard. The work of leading others, not by preaching, but by being, because your very existence is proof that healing is possible. That power can come from pain. That darkness isn't something to fear, it's something to face, to feel, and ultimately to overcome. So wherever you go from here, go boldly, go honestly, go fully. You've earned your fire, you've earned your peace, you've earned your place in this world. So let the world watch, let them doubt, let them whisper, And you walk like you've danced with despair, because you have, and you survived, and you rose, and now you shine. This is your life, this is your chapter, and this time you write it in bold, in blood, in truth. Go live it, not for them, for you.